Boom! Hey, everybody. Guys, please jump on here real quick and see if we can get this show on the road and see if we can sling this conversation around. Do me a favor, guys, if you're watching me, wherever you're watching me from. My tie's not straight. It always annoys me when my tie's not straight. I'm one of those people, the tie has to be on point. Okay, if it's not on point, then there's no reason, there's no sense in tying a tie. This is what I believe. Guys, it's a beautiful, what is today, Wednesday? Ooh, I got a big deadline tomorrow, boy. Wednesday, the 29th of October. Can you believe we are already coming to the conclusion? We are standing on the precipice. We're standing on the cusp. We're standing on the edge of 2025. Before we know it, it's going to be 2026, boy. And then we're going to plunge ourselves in the election season, and all bets are off. My advice to social media influencers, the attention is on social media. The brand new currency now is attention. And whoever has the attention holds the keys to lots of money. So guys, if you're a social media influencer, if you have presence on this medium, on this platform, start invoicing political parties, because you're going to make lots of money. And this is the year to do it. This opportunity only comes around once every 5 years. So you have to maximize. You have to nip it in the bud. You have to be in it to win it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I get amused. I was reading earlier today, and I'll read some of the comments for you. Oh dear. First of all, I need to make sure that my audio is fine. Where's my phone? You see, this is what I go through. I have to rummage through all this stuff that I have on my desk. Did I ever share with you that Mumbayachi gifted me? He gave me this vinyl copy of his album. And let me tell you why I appreciate Mumbayachi for this, is that he never asked me for any money. He never said to me, oh, I brought you my album, could you please buy it? No. He just simply, he said to me, I've got a gift for you. And he gifted me. Now, of course, if he was going to sell it, I love the fact that, you know, had he told me it was for sale, I would have bought it. But he stuck to his word. He said it was a gift, and he gave me the gift. I love it. I have a record player, an LP. We used to call them LPs when I was younger. LP stands for long play. Okay? These are vinyl albums. I was telling Yo Maps a few months ago, I said Yo Maps needs to produce a compilation vinyl album of his biggest hits, and produce them in the vinyl format like this, and trust me, Zambians would buy it. I'd be the first one to buy it, because it would be like a souvenir. And then Yo Maps could sign it, and Mumbayachi, I don't think he signed. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. This is but I want Mumbayachi to sign this for me one of these days. Thank you. Guys, let me read some of your comments. If I can find, somebody was saying earlier on here, when I posted that I was going to talk about these two issues, someone said, oh, so Black Apple is giving you pressure. Zambians love saying that. Guys, let me explain something. It is not pressure when you decide to respond. Hear me. This is social media 101. If you want to protect your brand, your name, your persona, and someone releases false information or inaccurate information, or information that is less than truthful, information that is less than being honest, And then you decide to rebut. You know the word rebut? You decide to respond. You decide to reply. It doesn't mean it's pressure. You know, somehow, I think Zambians, when they say that to you, it's a way of trying to convince you that you're sweating. Nobody's sweating. When someone puts out false information about you and you decide on your platform, such as this one, this is my platform, I can do whatever I want on this platform. I can turn on my live if I want. I can leave this phone recording as long as it's on a charge. I could leave it for 24 hours a day. It's my choice. Why? Because it's my platform. So when I decide to rebut and to reply on my platform, it doesn't mean it's pressure. It just simply means I have an opportunity now to respond to something that has been falsely said. Simple. There's no pressure. And then somebody else said to me on the comment section, me, I've got no time to listen to that. I want to be available. That's your choice. Nobody is coercing you to be on this platform. You know, another person said, you, mwewa, why can't you talk about Zesco? Well, why don't you talk about it? We've talked about it. So why don't you talk about it? Why don't you utilize your platform to do that? My point, guys, is this. On your platform, you do what you want. Okay? All right. Did I share this with you? Did I tell you about this beautiful radio? I bought this from Bric-a-Brac at Agora Village. This, my brothers and sisters, is a real radio. This is we used to call these the wireless. Today, we're listening to the wireless. Okay, we used to, and this is a real radio and it works and I love it. I do. Thank you for that, Bric-a-Brac. Guys, let's get into it. Many of you know that there's a very notorious PF diehard thug by the name of Joe Blackapple. I refer to him as thug because I was a first-hand witness to his antics when the PF were in power. By virtue of the fact that I spend an average of 10 hours a day here at Simoson building. Simoson, some of you may not realize, is a very politically charged, sits on a very politically charged corner of the CBD. This is probably one of the most, I'll go ahead and say it because it's the truth. It is one of the busiest corners in the entire CBD because we're located directly opposite City Market on the northern side. And we've got Lumumba Road, we've got Simon Moore Lane, we've got Simon Moore Market. So there are two huge, massive markets. And we are sandwiched right between them. So this area is very volatile. Now, I have spent the vast majority of my working life here at Simoson. I've been here for 38 years. When we first came here in 1987, there was nothing here. City Market was built in 1997. We were here before City Market. In those days, in the 80s, when you said you were going to Simoson, it was like saying you're going to the industrial area. Nobody cared about this spot. Now it's all changed. 38 years later, this is the epicenter of political activity here at Simoson City Market, Lumumba Road. So I said all of that to say this. Over the years, I have seen them come, I've seen them go. I've seen wonderful people, I've seen notorious people, I've seen brutality like you would not believe. If I were to tell you some of the stories, some of the things that I have witnessed by virtue of the fact that I've operated from this spot, it would curl your hair if your hair was straight, or it would make your hair curly, straight if it was curly. That's just how crazy this spot is. So I've seen them all. I've seen them all, including Black Apple. During the PF, Black Apple was notorious. The man that you've seen, he was a guest. Let me bring you up to speed. He was recently a guest on some type of online chat show. And the interviewer asked him a very pointed, straightforward question. The interviewer said, "We hear that during the PF's tenure, during the time of the brutal regime of the PF, you were notoriously involved with torturing people at a place called Kamgodi." Now, notice the way he answered the question. He didn't answer it directly. He first of all diverted and started talking about me and started saying, well, you know, the first person that brought this issue up was Simon Mwewa Chitambala and all that. He didn't really answer the question. He had to first of all try to discredit everything that I've said about my eyewitness account of his behavior. I mean, I saw it. In many cases, I even recorded it. I remember when and he made reference to when City Market was burnt, but he conveniently forgot to mention that when the two canopies of City Market collapsed, because in those days, the manager of City Market decided to erect billboards illegally, and the way the wind was hitting the billboards, it brought down those two canopies. When those two canopies collapsed, it was an absolute miracle that no one was hurt, no one was killed. Of course, many vehicles and buses were damaged, but there was not one single person that was injured, not one person was killed. If you saw the damage that the collapsed canopies caused, immediately you would think that many people died, but nobody died, thankfully, miraculously. Now, the steel, Inshimbi, the steel that was used to erect those canopies, it was Black Apple and his PF cohorts that brought welders and grinders to chop up that steel and steal it. I was one of the people recording. When Black Apple saw me recording, he immediately instructed his boys to grab me and throw me out of the market and slap me up a bit, you know, and they sort of, one guy punched me in the back of the ear and chucked me out of the market. The market, a market that is a public place, it belongs to you, it belongs to me. But during the PF, the market was a personal Tohoda item. During the PF, the market belonged to them. Black Apple and his cohorts had it in their minds that City Market belonged to them. Hence, the reason they chose, in many instances, not just this one, they chose to cut up, to chop up the steel, because in their minds, even if Boma, and we are part of Ichipani. So because we are part of Ichipani, and even if Boma, canopy, my canopies are collapse, we'll just take them. And they were doing this in the full presence of council police and Zambia police. That is the truth. I was there. I know what I'm talking about. You can't refute that. You can't dispute that. You can't go against that. You can't contradict that. You can't say anything contrary when it comes to that issue, because I am a first-hand eyewitness of that event. Notice, he very conveniently didn't mention the part of where he was stealing the steel. Instead, he focused on, he was talking about, no, Mr. Mwewa was a chairman. Guys, anyone that is a chairman of any political party, never mind the PF, there's evidence to that effect. There's a letter of appointment, there's an application letter. Just by you, just the intent of being a chairman, it's not verbal. Are you able to intend to be a chairman just verbally? You just say, oh, chairman. Oh, you want to be chairman? Okay. No. There is a written track record. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've never been I've never vied, I've never applied, I've never asked for any political position in the PF. Never. Had I done that, oh honey, the PF would have a long time ago, in the position we're in now, the vantage point that we're in at this very moment. If there was any paper trail of anything, you think PF wouldn't bring it out? Let me even go further. If which I wasn't, but if there are people that say I was some type of chairman in the PF, I never got one single contract from the PF in anything. The only thing I ever put my name forward for, I always used to say, look, if you need someone to cover your rallies, if you need space on our platform to advertise, you're welcome to do that. Yes, that we did. And that's not a secret. That's as an open fact. And people love to show clips of, it was me recording that. When Miles Sampa was running for mayor of the city of Lusaka, Edgar Lungu held a rally in Kanyama for Miles Sampa. Sande Chanda, is it Sande Chanda? Sande Chanda, yes. They asked me to, or his office asked me to go and cover the rally. And they said, we'll pay you for it. That is a service I provide. I've done it for the UPND during the 2021 period. I did it for both of them. UPND would call me, Gary would call me. Mwewa, we've got a rally, HH is filing his nomination documents at Mulungushi. Could you please go cover it? How much is it? I would tell them the price. I would invoice them. Boom, they sent me the money. I was there. PF, the same thing. Mwewa, we've got a rally in Kanyama. Could you go cover it? We want your audience to see what we're doing. I give them the price. Boom, I was there. I did that with everybody. And I'm going to do it again in 2026. I'm going to invoice the heck out of these guys. Why? Because this is a business. In the same way that Diamond TV is a business. In America, CNN accepts adverts from the Democrats and the Republicans. It is a business. But in Zambia, no, you stood on the stage with PF. So what? And that's my way of doing it. No, you are not a professional like ZNBC. Well, I'm not ZNBC. This is SML TV, where nothing is conventional. Understand that. The sooner you realize that, the better off you are. And the other thing that the PF love to do, they seem to make it look like this video clip of me on stage with Bowman at Miles Sampa's rally, they seem to sort of give off this vibe that this was a secretly recorded video. Wrong. I am the one that recorded that. I'm the one that posted that. Even the photographs of me and Davis Mwila and Bowman Lusambo. It was me. I took those photographs. I posted them on my page. So don't get it twisted. Don't sit there and think, no, Rally Mukopa, he didn't know, and now the secret is, there is no secret. It is an open fact. I did that then, and I'll do it again in 2026. As long as I invoice you and as long as you pay, okay? This SML TV is a business. That's what it is. It is a business first. In the same way that Mwebantu is a business, in the same way that Diamond TV is a business, in the same way that CNN is a business, the same exact way. There is no difference. But if it's convenient for you to believe other than what I've said, be my guest. Believe anything you want. You can jump through this, because guess what? I really don't care. And that, my brothers and sisters, is the truth. All right. So, Black Apple, it's really amusing, because if any of you, I saw a male influencer when Black Apple was cornered by people that call themselves UPND. In my view, those were people that were harmed by Black Apple. They were simply revenging. They were simply meting out to him what he meted out to them. They had an axe to grind. They had unsettled business with Black Apple, because when Black Apple was the big boss, he was the one meting out pain and horror to these people. So now, because the tables have turned, they got him. When they got him and they beat him to a pulp, he starts complaining about it. The Word of God says, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword. The Word of God says, what you sow, that you shall also reap. It is a biblical, immutable, irrefutable, unalterable fact. It is a law that cannot be altered, it cannot be changed, it cannot be sidestepped, it cannot be reconfigured. It is set. What you reap, that you shall also, what you sow, that you shall also reap. Simple. So he's simply reaping what he sowed. And then now he's crying about it. But for those of you that only see Black Apple as a picture on social media, you are not privy to the things he did. I am. You didn't see the things he did when they were in PF. I did. I saw it firsthand. So when you social media influencers start sympathizing with the Black Apple, it's because you don't know. It's because you didn't see what he used to do. So it's convenient for you to talk like that. Anyway, so that's my response. He can say anything he wants. We see through him. I know him. I know everything about that guy. I know his level of brutality. I also know the level of ignorance. Because, I mean, he's a muscle guy, but he is dumber than a box of hammers. I tell you, he couldn't decipher a binary number if he saw it. That guy. It's the truth. Alrighty. Lastly, what I want to say, I want to talk about Simon Mwelane Market. It breaks my heart what's going on at that market. The people that are running that market don't care about it. They're not taking care of it. They're not doing anything. They're just, it's just can I tell you what the government should do? You guys remember Munyaule Market. Munyaule Market was full of shacks. It was the same way that City Market was built. Some of you don't remember that when City Market, before City Market was built, it was just ramshackles there. When Chiluba, the second president of the Republic of Zambia, announced that this piece of land was going to be turned into an ultra-modern market, my goodness, the resistance was fierce. People who settled on top of that land where City Market sits today, they rose up and they shouted and screamed bloody murder. They said, oh, if you remove us from this land, tukayakwi, abana twakula abalishashani. Chiluba said, you are moving from there. We're going to build an ultra-modern market. And then you can apply so that you can be part of that market. When they built it in 1997, Zambia National Service, in conjunction with an Israeli company, those same people who were screaming and shouting, Twala Akwi, you have displaced us. They looked at that ultra, hey, Fichawa Machi Market Chino. Hey, Fibalera never Chiluba. Hey. Sometimes you need to compel. That's the reason the Word of God says, compel them to come in. Compel them to come in. Make them come in. Sometimes people don't see what they need until you compel them. Same thing with the Munyaule Market. When Munyaule Market was first announced, and this was during the PF, the Munyaule Market issue has been going on since the PF days. Since the PF days, that under Vincent Mwale, that market was supposed to be built as an ultra-modern market. But because of politics, because cadres were trying to stand in the way of Vincent Mwale and even Gary Nkombo, there was some resistance towards Gary Nkombo when Gary wanted to push the issue of the market being built, Munyale market being turned into an ultra-modern market. Because our people are okay with mediocrity. Our people would rather sell from a shack than an ultra-modern building. Why? Because in their minds they think, no, you're going to displace me. You're going to move me from this shack. Yes, you are saying you want to build an ultra-modern market with bricks and mortar. But in the process, you're going to remove me from my spot. And I have this small shack that helps me feed my family. Our people have no foresight. They only think about today. Just here. Just here. A Zambian will only think like this here. No, nilelo, tuala dielelo. Na Milo. No, forget Milo. Nilelo. And you think that's okay? It's not okay. So there's Munyale Market. Lusaka City Council leased Munyale Market to a foreign guy who said to City Council, Lusaka City Council, you don't have the money to build an ultra-modern market. But me as a foreigner, I have it. Just give me a long lease, 30, 40 years. I'll build the market. I'll give you a small portion of my earnings. As long as we sign a lease for 20, 30, 40 years. And the council said, okay. So Lusaka City Council gave Munyale Market to a foreigner who has the money to build that thing. Guess what? Even before Munyale Market is finished, it is completely occupied. And the chap is charging in dollars. Dollars! All the shops are gone. There is not one single shop at it's now Mama's Market. It's called Mama's Market, where Munyale was. Simon Mwewa Lane Market is a government building. The top floor is still empty. Why? Because the people who were given offer letters are waiting to sell the rights of the ownership of that shop to someone else for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 kwacha. So the shops are empty. There are hundreds of shops there at Simon Mwewa Lane Market, that have owners, meaning they've got offer letters from the council. They have an offer letter from the council, from a housing department, saying to them, you are the rightful tenant of shop BA in Simon Mwewa Lane Market. But the person who has been given that letter, that offer letter, does not know anything about business. He's just waiting to sell this shop to someone for 80,000 kwacha. What is the answer to this Simon Mwewa Lane Market? Government should give it to an investor who should run it commercially for a profit, so that council has a revenue stream. It is that simple. But the way it is now, there, already, I mean, the thing is hardly open, but it's already derelict. Just constant sweeping is an issue. Constant is an issue. You go to Mama's Market. When Mama's Market, which is under a foreigner, you go there when it finishes. Sparka jazz. Clean. Why? Because it's a private business. And they know the value. Now Muzambia, ili attitude yao, no, niva boma. Iyo ine attitude iyo, that is what is killing this country. That is what is killing this city. When you start saying niva boma and you don't take care of it, that's the result. I mean, this is there. No, that is your Waterloo. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Thanks for watching. Good night. Namatachi heshima.